What's going on YouTube? It's MasterAquatics and I'm just bringing you guys another video. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel. Doesn't matter, you're here. That's what matters. Anyways, check this out guys. So I don't know if you guys saw the video or remember, I used to have a bunch of crawfish and they were in my 40-gallon breeder tank, and I thought I really don't want these crawfish anymore. I'm gonna go fishing. I went fishing. I didn't really catch anything. I used up a lot of the crawfish as bait. Fish kept stealing my bait. So I came back home with around 4 or 5. I decided to throw them in the 125-gallon tank, and they ended up going after some of my fish. So I said, no, I don't want them hurting my fish. So I decided to slowly and take my time getting them out of the 125-gallon tank so I can move them somewhere else. As you can see, my bisher was just freaking out. You know, I was trying to get these crawfish and my bisher was just not having it. So you might be wondering, like, where did you put the crawfish? I'm gonna let you guys just see for yourself. Here we go guys. Are you guys ready for this? I don't think you guys are ready for this. Hey, where you going, bud? Okay, so I tried to put the first crawfish into the saltwater tank, but he did not want to go. I guess he saw what was down there and he was not too happy about it, but nonetheless, I decided to put him in there and see what happens. Now, for anybody wondering in the first place whether or not if these guys are freshwater or saltwater, they can survive in both, and I was told this by the person that I got these crawfish from. And I thought it would be really cool to have these crawfish with this crab that I just got. And honestly, I didn't think the crab would go after these crawfish or crayfish, whatever you want to call them,
the way that he did.
Now, I knew putting these crayfish in with this giant crab could cause trouble, but please guys, you guys gotta believe me. You guys have to believe me. I did not think this would cause World War III in this saltwater aquarium. I did not think it would cause bloodshed, a war, a slaughter fest, a massacre, whatever you want to call it, a bloodbath. This thing, this crab, this giant crab that we eat off of our dinner plates from time to time if you eat seafood, is one of the most savage animals that I have ever kept in a aquarium or fish tank. Hands down. Really, I thought at most the crab would just kill the crayfish or crawfish. I didn't think he would actually make a meal out of all of these crawfish or crayfish. I thought maybe, you know, he would spar with some of these shrimps, but, you know, he just totally destroyed them. They didn't have a chance up against this crab. They really didn't, and it really looked like they just wanted assisted suicide. I mean, if you just take a look at this crawfish right here, he's just asking to be killed by that giant crab. My giant crab is feasting on his buddy right there, his buddy crayfish, and that crayfish just insists that he would like to watch his buddy get eaten with the giant crab. I mean, if I was that crayfish, I really wouldn't want to be anywhere near that giant crab. And this crab, I just did a little time lapse right here just so you guys can see, you know, like how long they take to eat something such as a crawfish and, you know, things of that nature. And the crayfish decides to come around, and finally the crab was like, enough is enough. You've been walking around here like you're the shit long enough. It's time to show you who's really the shit around here. And the crab decides to give him what's been coming to him since I put him into that fish tank, which is an ass whooping. And I'm sorry for the language, y'all, but this was really intense for me. Watching this was really intense. He's still eating. He was still eating, by the way, until just now, until he thought, you know, I better use both pinchers to take out this guy, because this was the biggest crawfish that I put in there with the biggest arms, and this crab was able to easily take him out, and he just ripped them open like it was nothing. Like, I struggle opening those guys just to eat them after they've been cooked, and this crab was able to open up that crawfish, crayfish, get all his white meat out, and he was able to feast, no problem. Hands down, this guy is a survivor. And the thing about giant crabs is that they are really strong and they're really capable of defending themselves, except when it comes to us humans. But when it comes to other fish, crayfish and crawfish, they're very versatile and they are fighters. They are capable of taking out things pretty quickly if they want to. What I found most interesting about this crab is that not only does it eat all of the meat inside of the crayfish or crawfish, but it also tends to chew on some of the exoskeleton of this shrimp. It tends to eat its shell and pieces of it, which I don't know why. I guess it's just to like grind down some of its mandibles. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Maybe for the calcium or whatever it is. But the giant blue crab is definitely a scavenger, and it doesn't waste anything on its victim or its prey. And again, these crayfish and crawfish, one by one, they would provoke the crab. At one point, the crab had eaten about 2 or 3 of the crawfish or crayfish, and I decided to put another one right on top of it. And as you can see, this crawfish is really big. It's almost as big as the crab itself. You can see the size comparison right there. And the crab wasn't really too interested on taking out that crawfish, even though I threw it right on top of him. So eventually I had to wait about like 30 to 45 minutes, and then finally the crayfish or crawfish came around and it provoked the crab. The crab ended up grabbing it, and this was the cool part, or the interesting part. Instead of killing it right away, the crab just sort of just held it. And what I've noticed with my crab, since I've been feeding it all kinds of stuff, is that when the crab is full, what it does is if there's any spare food lying around and it can't eat it, but it wants to eat it later, what it's going to do, it's going to hold on to that food with its pinchers, whether it's alive, whether it's dead, whatever it is, whether it's a crayfish, a crawfish, a regular fish, a minnow, pieces of tilapia, doesn't matter what it is, it'll chill with the food in its pincher for like 8 hours, however long, until it gets hungry again, which I imagine is pretty quick because this crab can eat a lot. That little crab, it can stuff its face with lots of food. The crayfish or crawfish that you're looking at right now that's struggling with the crab right now, this is like the 4th or 5th crayfish or crawfish, and this crab, he's just having a fun time. He's having a little feast. With this crayfish or crawfish, like I mentioned earlier, he decided to do something a little bit different. He decided to take his time with it, and he wasn't really too aggressive with the crayfish or crawfish, but he was careful, making sure he doesn't get pinched. Because if a crayfish or crawfish pinches you, you're going to be in a world of hurt. Pinchers are not something that you want to mess around with on anything, whether it be a crayfish, crawfish, crab. So it looks like he's trying to go head first, and it looks like he's struggling a little bit. I don't know why, because usually he's pretty quick and he's pretty strong, but I mean, just look at him, he's just taking his time with it. So but it looks like this time he decided to get his pincher and make an incision in the neck and chest area, and it looks like he's trying to dig his claw in there, and he's just trying to split this guy open like he did with the last one and get all that white meat out. As you can see right now, he's just getting very small pieces of the crayfish and crawfish, but that crayfish and crawfish is still alive, so that crab still needs to be careful and not get pinched. If that crab gets pinched, I don't think too much damage will be done to it. I think they can regenerate their limbs if I'm not mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that the pain will still be felt with the crab. Can crabs feel pain? I don't know. I haven't done research on that. Somebody let me know down in the comment section down below, but it certainly does look like that crayfish and crawfish can feel pain. And also when I would hook these guys, it seemed like they would feel pain, because when I would hook them, they would get really pissed off and try to pinch the crap out of me, or the rod that I was using, or the string. I wanted to mention this because I don't think I've mentioned this before, but if you plan on getting a blue crab, just know that they're very hardy, they're very easy to take care of. You can also eat them too, but if you want to keep them as a pet, you can. Just make sure that you're very careful when you're handling these crab, because these crabs, if they get a hold of you with one of their pinchers, you're going to be going through a bad time. It's going to be a very bad day for you. So if you're a kid, you watch my videos and you see me doing this, just know that behind the scenes, like when I'm handling this guy, when I'm trying to feed him and all that stuff, I'm using caution. I'm giving this crab respect. I'm making sure that we see eye to eye, because if we don't see eye to eye, it's going to be a pain every time I try to go into his home and clean it and do maintenance and all that stuff. So I think he tolerates me. I don't think he likes me, but he sure as heck likes eating those crayfish and crawfish. What a savage little crab. I think I need to come up with a name for this guy. Hopefully he isn't at his maximum size. I really want him to get bigger. I haven't really Googled or done research as to how big these guys can get, but I can only imagine that they are going to get a pretty good size for this 46-gallon saltwater tank that I have this crab in right now. Hopefully he's not at his max size. Hopefully you guys love this crab. I love this crab. Hopefully you guys just enjoyed the video in general, and I just want to say thank you guys. If you clicked on this video and you made it this far, thank you so much. And I guess I'll just see you guys in the next video. So take care, peace out, see you in the next one. Bye.